So it's a very rare and valuable vehicle. Just driving past us now, and we just missed it as it went round, is the original Cadrona rabbit board Land Rover. It's set in the queue on the outside there. It's got the unpainted alloy roof, truck cab. That vehicle has been restored by Kevin Skerr, a long-standing member of the Wanaka community, one of the owners of Hillian Station up to our right. And Kevin was awarded the best Land Rover in show at last night's shakedown at Shed.
Beautiful. This is kind of the culmination of a week plus or more of activities. You actually had them out in some wonderful high country doing some great things too, haven't you?
Yes, our event kicked off on Tuesday afternoon, and then for the next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we ran 2 safaris each day, shorter safaris closer to town for the older vehicles that don't travel quite so well on the road, and some longer safaris which had further distance to go for the later model vehicles. Everyone had a marvellous time. Wonderfully, all vehicles that started every safari actually finished the safaris, which was pretty good, with no major breakdowns.
You've got a snapshot of different vehicles here that have got different applications, from those that have been used simply for farming, those that have been used in a council sense, in a military sense, and so on.
Yeah, there's just about an example, well, there is an example of every model in the range going through the years, but the various uses and applications, they were originally designed as a farming vehicle, but that was sufficiently flexible that it could be driven to town, but equally it could tow a plough. You could run a power takeoff unit and have a saw bench behind it. There were endless applications for them, and then over the years, as they developed and grew up, they were used extensively in the military. You see a couple of examples of the fork controls coming around now. There's even one that's been here that's been turned into a camper, and the wonderful rebuild of that bright silver one just by the crane there. Bob's done an amazing job on that vehicle, because the bodywork on all the Land Rovers is a special alloy called Burma-Brite. Originally, after the Second World War, there was a lot of alloy left over from the aeroplanes, and so because steel itself was very hard in short supply and rationed, the Land Rovers were made out of Burma-Brite, and because it proved to be rust-free and so enduring, they continued to make them out of that right through the modern days.
For the most part, we've got some Range Rovers coming through, and we've got some newer iterations of the Landing coming through. But for much of it that we see out parking in the centre of the parade ground now, it retained that, as we discussed yesterday, almost like a Porsche 911. It retained a character, didn't it, throughout the years, throughout the decades?
Yeah, indeed. The very early Land Rovers, the series vehicles from Series 1s to 2s to 3s, then they morphed into Defenders, just like that one going through now, but they've still got that distinctive boxy Land Rover Meccano look about them.
Do you think that this inspired other manufacturers, Land Rover, and inspired other manufacturers to try and get on board with that four-wheel drive off-road sort of capability vehicle, and maybe what we see today with so many four-wheel drive vehicles, off-road vehicles and stuff? I think this was a big inspiration for all these other manufacturers.
Yeah, absolutely, Murph. And sad to say that Land Rover, I think they took one or two things for granted, perhaps, in the 70s and 80s, and a few other manufacturers jumped on board. And you know, there are some pretty good other vehicles, dare I say, Toyotas and Nissans and Mitsubishis and various other things.
Inspired by what we see here.
Exactly, yeah. But we've got a soft spot for Landers.
Oh, it's understandable we have a soft spot for them. I mean, look at just how they look. I mean,
the design and they just capture a very certain space and what's not to love about certainly the early stuff mainly and then the evolutions of that. But it must, I think it's pretty amazing that I think you could safely say that all these manufacturers looked at this and saw an opportunity to get on board and actually produce vehicles that were inspired by this. It's quite an amazing story, really.
Oh, absolutely. And just as the very early series Landies sort of led the way and then were copied, the first Range Rovers that came out, which we now refer to as the classic Range Rovers, they just stepped up everything to a whole new level that worldwide had never been done, because there was a vehicle that could comfortably and could and did drive at over 100 miles an hour and was comfortable on the road, but not only that, hugely capable off-road. I've got an old classic that we've owned. In fact, I'm only the second owner of it. Bought it at 150,000, so it was just run in. It's now done close on 340, and it's just gone and gone. And apart from consuming a fair amount of fuel from the V8, I absolutely love it.
We know that we can sense that passion in you, and I know you learned on one as a 12-year-old on a farm, which is really cool. Last of them starting to make their way into the Highlands Parade Ground now. You've showcased a bit about what the drivers, the owners have done in the high country during the week here. Might be nice to share with our audience here that you've raised along the way nearly $10,000 for charity, I think, this week too, haven't you?
Yeah, our whole event was run as a fundraiser for Wanaka Search and Rescue, as indeed we did last time when we had the Oxford rally here. The Oxford vehicle itself that we imported to show through New Zealand and the Habit Wheels at Wanaka was the first Land Rover to drive overland from London to Singapore and return in 1955 and 56. Fantastic book written by a guy, Tim Slessor, who's still alive. He's in his 90s now. The book is called First Overland. But on that event, we raised $4,500 for Wanaka Search and Rescue. This time we've more than doubled it. And on Friday evening at our wind-up barbecue, we presented the deposit slip to the Secretary of Search and Rescue for $9,200. And that's going towards buying new equipment for Search and Rescue.
Well done, and born out of a shared love among all of these owners. Rod, well done. I think you're going to be stopping by again later in the day. Wonderful to have this celebration here of 75 years, everything from farming to military to royalty. It's covered it all over 75 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, as we say, 75 years of Land Rover turning owners into mechanics.
Have a fantastic Easter. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you back.
Yeah, we'll be back
During the day. All right, we'll play. I think maybe a little bit of music here, shall we? And we get the next activity as the rest of the Land Rovers make their way out of the Highlands Parade Ground. Don't forget, of course, too, lots happening around Wheels at Wanaka today. You want to familiarise yourself with three parks here and what is offered. Just directly kind of to our right, where you can see the range of really cool new Class Harbour Centre machines up on the hill there. You'll wander over into the tractor and truck pull arena, if you will. I think we're kicking off with round one for Sunday at about 10 a.m, so in about half an hour's time. And Murph, you've been up yesterday at the Wanaka Power Sports Dirt Pit up the back. They have lots of good two-wheel action as well.
Yeah, amazing up the back there. Some very talented individuals on their two-wheel motorbikes. So we've got the Shistenturo X by CDL Building that is kicking off very shortly. The Cities round one, looking to get underway over the back there towards Wanaka, the far end of Three Parks venue here, towards Wanaka. That starts at 9:30, the semis, and then round two of the semis will begin at 11 a.m, so lots of action there. Later on, there will also be Hayden Patton doing a display of two in his 84 rally car over there. That'll be from about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll be here later today as well, doing the Polaris experience with Wanaka Power Sports and doing rides in the amazing RZR Turbo R4-seater machine, taking some hot laps, and you can purchase a hot lap, all that money going to one of our wonderful charities here at Wheels at Wanaka 23. So plenty to do. Make sure you get hold of the maps around the place and go and explore this amazing venue. Over at the Tirracat Earth Moving Pit, that kicks off again. I think it might have actually kicked off now.
Just the last 15, I think, 10 minutes or so. Yep.
With the pre-1960s and vintage earth moving, that is mesmerising over there. So make sure you spend some time over at the Tirracat Earth Moving Pit, watching some of this wonderful machinery that built New Zealand effectively. A lot of this machinery was instrumental in cutting the roads and making much of the roads and other infrastructure around New Zealand. So go over there, some very passionate people with their incredible machines moving a lot of dirt around.
Just like we used to when we were kids, but only it's real size. Now,
no Tonka over there.
Exactly. Very, very easy to find the Tirracat Earth Moving Pit. You're looking for the beautiful array of pines at the northern end of the Highlands Parade Ground here. You'll wander past all the latest offerings from the various manufacturers that we have here from a mining and agricultural sense. So great to check out the latest and greatest that is available as you walk over toward the Tirracat Earth Moving Pit. No less than 1,800 machines here this year, 550 tractors, 450 cars, all sorts of trucks and earth movers. We say a huge good morning and happy Easter to all of the car club members. As we wandered in this morning, we ventured through Citroen, Porsche and a whole lot more. You'll have a thoroughly enjoyable day here, everybody, with wonderful coffee and food around the venue. Make sure you take a moment to support that, and in particular we have a real charitable interest or connection with Wheels at Wanaka as well. So the team at Cure Our Ovarian Cancer are over here where the cars and tractors and things will enter the Highlands Parade Ground. They have a great setup over there. Go and see the team, the ladies that are over there. They've got some great information on early protection, which is so important. Next activity coming up very shortly. What have we got? Tractors and crawlers, I think, about to make their way out onto the Highlands
Easter
Parade
Sunday.
Ground. More in a moment.
2023, Wheels at Wanaka. Videoed in memory of Timothy James Lovett.